They taught you that saving money is wisdom. They told you that discipline means holding on. They praised the man who protects every dollar as responsible, mature, intelligent. And quietly, without announcing it, this belief became your prison. Because what no one told you is simple and brutal. Money does not respect fear. Money does not grow around hesitation. Money does not multiply in the hands of those who treat it like something fragile. From the very beginning, wealth has always followed the same law. It moves toward power, not protection. It obeys confidence, not caution. And it abandons those who cling to it too tightly. Look carefully at history. Kings did not become powerful by hiding gold under the floor. Empires were not built by counting coins in the dark. They spent. They invested. They displayed. They circulated wealth as a signal of dominance. Machiavelli understood something most people never will. Power is not about possession. Power is about perception. And money, like people, responds to perception before logic. When you save obsessively, you send a message, not to others, to reality itself. You are saying, "I am afraid of losing." And fear is a scent that opportunity can smell from miles away. The poor man saves to feel safe. The wealthy man spends to become inevitable. This is where the mind rebels, because everything you were taught screams that this is irresponsible, dangerous, reckless. But that reaction is proof that the conditioning runs deep. Your brain is wired to avoid loss more than to seek gain. This is not intelligence. This is survival instinct. And survival instinct is designed for staying alive, not becoming powerful. Saving money activates the part of the brain that seeks certainty. But wealth lives in uncertainty. Growth lives in risk. And dominance lives where outcomes are not guaranteed. Every time you choose to save instead of deploy, you reinforce an identity. The identity of someone who prepares for collapse, not expansion. Someone who expects scarcity, not abundance. Someone who waits instead of commands. Money listens to that identity. People believe money is neutral. It is not. Money behaves like a servant who chooses its master carefully. It follows those who demonstrate they can move it without trembling. This is why sudden wealth destroys so many lives. Not because money is dangerous, but because the mindset holding it is small. The saver's mind is trained to protect, not to multiply. So when large sums arrive, fear takes control. Fear leads to hoarding. Hoarding leads to stagnation. Stagnation attracts decay. Wealth must move, or it turns against you. The saver thinks, "What if I lose this?" The strategist thinks, "What if I don't use this?" One question shrinks the future, the other expands it. Machiavelli warned rulers about this exact weakness. A prince who appears cautious appears weak. A prince who appears bold attracts loyalty, allies, and momentum. Money works the same way. When you spend strategically, you are not losing money. You are signaling strength. You are telling the world, "I expect more to return." And expectation shapes outcomes more than effort ever will. Most people never notice this shift. They save their whole lives, waiting for the day they will finally feel secure enough to act. That day never comes. Because security does not precede power. Power creates security. Think about it carefully. If saving made people rich, the most disciplined savers would be the wealthiest group on earth. They are not. They are often the most anxious. Their lives become smaller as their savings grow. They say no more than they say yes. They avoid more than they explore. They protect more than they build. Money feels heavy in their hands, not because it is valuable, but because it carries fear. Spending, when done with intention, does the opposite. It forces you to rise. It demands that you expand your capacity. It pushes you into environments where growth becomes necessary, not optional. This is why the wealthy appear calm under financial pressure. They trained their nervous system to operate while money moves. They are not attached to the number. They are attached to the process. Saving teaches you to count. Spending teaches you to command. Every major shift in power comes from a moment of bold deployment. A business started before the money felt enough. A connection paid for before results were guaranteed. A risk taken when logic advised retreat. These moments do not feel safe. They feel alive. Your nervous system resists them because it confuses discomfort with danger. But discomfort is the price of expansion, and money only flows toward expansion. The saver asks permission from the future. The spender shapes it. This is why appearances matter. Machiavelli insisted that rulers must look powerful even when they are not, because perception creates reality before reality confirms it.
When you spend on your skills, your image, your network, your leverage, you are not being vain. You are constructing authority. Authority attracts opportunity faster than merit ever could. People trust those who invest in themselves. They doubt those who hesitate. This is uncomfortable to accept because it exposes a painful truth. Your frugality may not be virtue. It may be fear disguised as discipline. And fear, no matter how well dressed, is still fear. Saving feels good because it reduces anxiety in the short term. Spending feels uncomfortable because it exposes uncertainty. But long-term outcomes are built by those who tolerate uncertainty better than others. Wealth is not a reward for good behavior. It is a consequence of bold behavior. Money respects motion. It resists stagnation. When you stop circulating money, you signal that your world is closed. When you circulate it, you invite exchange. Exchange leads to connection. Connection leads to leverage. Leverage is where wealth truly begins. The saver believes effort creates wealth. The strategist knows positioning does. You can work endlessly and still remain poor if your money never leaves your comfort zone, because comfort zones are invisible cages. The first time you spend in a way that scares you, something shifts. Your identity cracks. Your nervous system adapts. Your perception of possibility widens. This is not financial advice. It is psychological truth. Those who master money master their relationship with fear first, and fear loses power the moment it is confronted. Machiavelli would never advise reckless waste. He despised stupidity, but he also despised timidity. Spending without strategy is foolish, but refusing to spend is fatal. The world rewards those who dare to place their chips on the table, not because the world is fair, but because the world follows momentum. Momentum does not come from saving. It comes from decisive movement. Every empire, every fortune, every legacy begins with a moment where someone spent when it would have felt safer not to. That moment is not comfortable. It is transformative. And most people will avoid it their entire lives. They will tell themselves they are being responsible. They will tell themselves they are waiting for the right time. But deep down, they are waiting to stop being afraid. And fear does not disappear on its own. It retreats only when challenged. Money is not the problem. Your relationship with control is. Those who need certainty will never command wealth. Those who command wealth create certainty later. This is the inversion that changes everything. Most people misunderstand what spending really is. They imagine luxury, waste, ego. They picture cars, watches, excess, and they miss the real mechanism entirely. True spending is not consumption. It is positioning. Every dollar you release with intention places you somewhere new in the hierarchy of life. New rooms, new conversations, new expectations. Saving keeps you where you are. Spending moves you forward. The saver wants proof before action. The strategist understands that action creates proof. This is where the separation happens, not in intelligence, not in effort, but in courage. Because spending forces exposure. Exposure forces adaptation. Adaptation forces growth. You cannot grow while hiding. Machiavelli observed that rulers who tried to please everyone lost authority. Those who tried to be liked appeared weak. Those who dared to be decisive, even unpopular, inspired obedience. Money mirrors this dynamic perfectly. When you hesitate to spend, you seek reassurance. When you spend decisively, you command outcomes. The world responds faster to commands than to requests. Think of every powerful figure you admire. They do not wait until conditions are perfect. They move first and adjust later. Saving delays life, spending accelerates it. This is why time feels different for the wealthy. They compress years into months. They buy speed. Speed is the ultimate advantage, and speed costs money. The saver tries to preserve time by delaying spending. The strategist buys time by spending early. One waits. The other advances. Money locked in safety earns interest. Money deployed earns influence. Influence multiplies faster than interest ever will. This is why connections outperform credentials, why access beats skill, why proximity to power matters more than preparation, and proximity always has a price. Those who refuse to pay remain outsiders. Those who pay enter the game. Machiavelli never romanticized morality. He observed reality as it was, not as people wished it to be, and reality is ruthless toward those who refuse to play. Money is the language of commitment. When you spend, you show commitment. When you hesitate, you reveal doubt. Opportunities choose those who choose themselves first. The saver waits for validation. The spender creates it. There is a moment every powerful person remembers. The first time they spent money, they were afraid to lose, not recklessly, but deliberately. That moment rewired them. Fear did not disappear, but it stopped being the decision maker. From that moment on, money became a tool, not a shield. This is the shift most people never make. They use money to protect their past instead of building their future. Protection is passive. Creation is aggressive. Wealth favors aggression, not violence, not chaos, but forward force. Every system rewards those who apply pressure, those who circulate energy, those who move resources. Saving removes energy from circulation. Spending injects it. The world runs on flow. When you stop flow, decay begins. When you increase flow, life expands. This is why stagnant businesses fail, why stagnant relationships die, why stagnant minds shrink. Money trapped in fear stagnates the soul. The wealthy understand something uncomfortable. Loss is inevitable, but stagnation is optional. They accept loss as tuition. The saver experiences loss as trauma. One grows stronger, the other retreats. Machiavelli advised princes to accept short-term hatred to secure long-term stability. The same logic applies here. Short-term discomfort buys long-term dominance. Every major leap requires temporary imbalance. You spend before you feel ready. You move before certainty arrives. You act while doubt whispers. Those whispers never stop. They simply get quieter with repetition. Spending trains your nervous system to tolerate power. This is why many people sabotage success. Their identity cannot handle expansion. They retreat to safety the moment life asks them to grow. Saving becomes their escape hatch. But safety is expensive. It costs ambition. It costs potential. It costs time. Time is the most unforgiving currency. Money lost can return. Time never does. Those who delay spending delay becoming who they could be. Machiavelli would call this weakness disguised as virtue. He would remind you that fortune favors the bold because the bold are prepared to meet her halfway. Fortune does not chase those who hide. Money flows toward those who demonstrate trust in themselves. Not hope. Trust. Trust is visible in action. When you invest in yourself, you declare worth. When you invest in leverage, you declare intent. When you invest in growth, you declare dominance over fear. This declaration changes how people treat you, how opportunities approach you, how reality bends around you. Not because the world is fair, but because the world is responsive. Those who move resources are seen as leaders. Those who guard them are seen as followers. Leadership attracts wealth. Following preserves scarcity. Saving keeps you obedient. Spending makes you dangerous. Dangerous to mediocrity. Dangerous to stagnation. Dangerous to the life you were told to accept. This is the uncomfortable truth no one wants to say out loud. Most people are not poor because they don't earn enough. They are poor because they never learned to deploy. They confuse restraint with wisdom. They confuse patience with progress. But patience without action is paralysis. Money respects momentum. Momentum respects courage. Once you understand this, saving loses its illusion. You stop asking, "How do I protect what I have?" and start asking, "How do I expand what I am?" That question changes everything. You stop seeing money as something to guard and start seeing it as something to command. At that point, wealth stops feeling distant. It starts feeling inevitable. Because inevitability belongs to those who move first. And those who move first always spend before they feel safe. That is the rule, and it has never changed.